Hey you guys, Kirsten Morley here, your motion code and body code practitioner. I actually have a story to tell you guys. But first I wanted to tell you I am in the middle of creating an ebook with basically all of the lessons that I learned about overcoming betrayal trauma and like all the tips and tricks and how to basically establish emotional safety and to begin healing yourself. And I seriously cannot wait to show you all of the details. Super excited. So this is actually my favorite analogy that I learned in in support groups. It basically taught me the power of self-care and boundaries and why they are so important. It's literally the biggest lesson I learned, and I actually continue using it today because it's been my biggest stepping stone, or like it's been the foundation of my healing. So this is called the tree analogy. I can't take credit for it because the therapist that I was going to in the support groups sessions, she explained it almost every single time, and every single time it blew my mind. So and it literally like rang true to me, and it resonated so much with me, like I just had to share it with you guys tonight. So I hope it blows your mind too. Okay, so I want you guys to think of you and your husband or significant other as two separate trees. Two healthy, beautiful looking trees. The leaves are touching at the top, and beautiful grass, healthy, with a white picket fence around each of them. And in this relationship, the leaves are touching at the top, and these healthy trees are taking care of themselves. So they're each watering their grass and the grass around it, the tree and the grass around it, and they're pulling their weeds, picking up the trash, cutting the grass, and so on. In an unhealthy relationship, these leaves are not touching, and the porn addict's tree is dying. So obviously your natural instinct is to go help him take care of his tree, and you give his tree some water, you make sure it's getting enough sunlight, and you pull up the weeds. Can you plug it in? You pull up the weeds and you trim the grass, and you pick up all the garbage. And if you are constantly taking care of his tree, who is taking care of your tree? Are you mowing your lawn? Are you do you have like the white picket fence around that blocks intruders from coming in? The fence that basically a fence that blocks other people's dogs from peeing on your tree. What are you allowing to do to your what are you allowing him to do to your tree? Are you letting him litter his candy wrappers on the ground? Are you letting him tear up the grass? Is he cutting your branches down? Is he hacking at your tree with an axe? Did he drive through your pretty light white picket little fence with his nasty old rusty truck and doing donuts all over your grass? Are you allowing him to break your boundaries? Are you going to let him dig up the sprinkler system so that your tree and your grass no longer get water anymore? Hell no, you're not. That is your tree. Kick him out. Water your tree, take care of your tree, and build a freaking brick wall to temporarily keep him out if you need to. Because that is your tree. Now listen, if you feel bad for his tree and because he isn't taking care of it, let him be. Let him figure it out. Let him figure out how to put up his own sprinkler system. He will figure it out someday, and he's not gonna die, okay? So now just know that if leaves are falling from his tree because he's so dehydrated, he is responsible for his own tree. Another part of this analogy that I absolutely love is, let's say there is, let's say anger is a dog chained to your tree, okay? And it can be good to keep intruders out as you are building your white picket fence around your tree. So the white picket fence is actually your boundaries. So the longer you take to figure out your boundaries, the longer the dog is actually going to be chained up to the tree, and it's going to be very damaging over time. So that's why it's important to establish boundaries. Otherwise, he's tearing you down. Otherwise it's tearing you down. So if your boundaries aren't up, other people have free range to your tree and your grass. So as you heal, the dog will become less reactive and to the things that basically come close to you and your tree and your fence. So your anger will become less and less, and eventually you will have a dog that is okay to roam around within your fence. So your dog will be able to just like watch people or watch things go by past without really getting a reaction. So here's actually a few examples that could help instill this analogy into your mind. So if your husband has responsibilities or chores in the home and he is supposed to be doing them on a regular basis, don't do them for him, okay? He has 2 legs, he has 2 arms, and it's his responsibility to do it. He has plenty of time to take out the garbage or do the dishes because you need to stick with your own responsibilities. If he packs up a lunch every day and he starts to slack off and he doesn't eat lunch, then he can skip a day or 2. It's not going to kill him. I personally spent way too many hours worrying about his health and his needs, and I was literally consuming my time to the point where I was skipping showers to take care of him and his needs. Let's be real, you're not his mom. Okay? You're not his mom. He can make his own lunch. He can do the dishes when he gets home. And taking out the garbage is a chore that he can actually do on the way out the door. Not letting... Sorry, I'm not saying that like you can't ever help him when he's having a bad day or whatever, but if you spot a pattern, then let him figure it out. Let him do it on his own. So here are a few extreme examples for those who are actually going through more than just betrayal trauma. I'm going to get really blunt here, okay? So if you don't want to have sex, you are allowed to say no. You don't have to let him into your yard. You have the choice to say no. You have the right to say no. You have the right to keep you and your tree safe. You have the right to change the locks on your gate if you choose to do that. You don't have to let him come near your tree if you don't want him to. If you don't feel safe with him next to your tree, then you're allowed to build a bigger wall, increase the fence, expand the yard so that you are further away. So because honestly, you are allowed to make yourself feel safe because you deserve to feel safe, because that is what you are creating for yourself. So let me ask you a couple questions. Right now in this time in your life, who are you allowing to damage your tree? How are you allowing them to damage your tree? Okay, what are you actually doing to protect your tree? And how can you clean up your tree and the area inside your picket fence? Okay, so that's pretty much all that I have for you. That analogy is actually in my ebook. So, by the way, I do have an ebook coming out, which I'm super excited about. It's basically a step-by-step guide on how to heal from betrayal trauma, and I seriously cannot wait for you guys to see it. So, with that, I hope you guys have a good night, and yeah, okay, bye.